Megan, I'm gonna need you to bring out a dictionary. Because if I hear the words ambushed, attacked, come out of your mouth again to describe the things that Derek has done to you, I'ma lose it. I'm going to lose it. Let's get into it.
Hurt you so bad last night.
That you feel like I don't want children. And then you decide to gaslight the shit out.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And also the brand new one, hyping. Scroll down to the comment section, slide to the right, and you should see an option to hype the videos. Thank you so much to those of you guys that are interacting, subscribing, hyping. It all makes such a huge difference on this channel. All of the engagement has been amazing. And I just overall, I'm so excited. We're so close to 10K. I can feel it. And I don't know if we're going to hit it quite by the end of the year, but I really hope so, because we are less than 500 subscribers away. Today, we are going to get into Married at First Sight, Season 19, Episode 7. And if you have not seen my episodes 5 and 6 video, because it's going to be released pretty close to this one, check that out first. You should see a link here in the cards. And there's also a playlist on my channel that you can see that has all of my Married at First Sight videos. Let's jump into this episode, because Megan, you're gonna have to come to the front of the room, girl. Okay, it's your turn. We start off with all the couples doing little activities. We see Chad decorating the balcony. He's putting an American flag and string lights. We see Josh and Jaylen roller skating. We find out that Britney hates wearing socks, but she'll do it anyway. And then we get on to Megan and Derek, and they are walking Zoe.
Experiences for me, and just realizing that, you know, there was things that I needed to get used to coming out of single life.
So Derek claims that they are in a good spot when it comes to Zoe and splitting up some of the responsibilities that comes with having a dog. For Derek, he said that he needed to realize that he needs to come out of single life and realize that these are shared responsibilities, and that a lot of these chores are just something that comes with the territory. I think that is so wrong. I am so tired of Derek always having to be the one in this relationship saying, I need to fix myself. I need to learn how to be married. I need to learn how to be a partner. How does Megan try to be a partner to him? Because we don't see her compromise on anything. We don't see her listen for anything. What is Megan doing to help Derek out? Okay, because this man said he wanted to use organic cleaning products and her face was all the way turned up. So Britney and Will are at the shared apartment. It looks like Will is just coming home from work, and Britney is discussing how she was watching her soaps, honey. She watches General Hospital and all of it. And I just thought that was so funny. But in either case, Britney is cooking dinner. She's cooking salmon. And for Britney, her love language is cooking. So as you know, Britney is someone that needs a lot of validation with things. So this is a very big deal for her. She says this is her first time ever cooking for a man. This is their first shared dinner. So she's really anxious about how Will is going to feel about what she eats or what she cooks. All I gotta say, Will, is you better be able to grin and act like it's good, even if it wasn't good, because you won't have a very bad night if you don't. In any case, Britney serves the table and she's looking at him like, waiting for him to give an answer. He's like, it's good. And don't get me wrong. Again, Will does not like this woman. He does not. He is tired. Will is checked out. He is just trying to get that check, that $1,000 stipend that they be giving every week, and he's trying to head on out of here. But Britney is very overbearing. And I could understand how a personality like that can also be exhausting. In either case, he likes it. Britney takes his answer. It's chill. And then Britney starts to be like, so does it bother you that I shed my hair everywhere? And I'm like, here we go again. I feel like she's always trying to bait him into these negative conversations. And then she gets upset that he does not take the bait. So he says, no, it's just hair. I mean, I don't know. I grew up with sisters. I grew up around women. It's just hair. She's like, does anything bother you? And I'm like, girl, again, why are you trying to provoke this man to be mad at you? But then when he does say something and give his opinion, the boom boom conversation, when he says he's not comfortable with something, you're over there crying, saying you feel rejected. If that man had said, yeah, the hair bothers me, girl, you would have been outside crying. saying that he's rejecting you, he doesn't accept you, he don't like your hair. It made me feel, come on, Britney. Come on, Britney. It's starting to get on my nerves. And Will's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess sometimes the way I have to reiterate myself all the time is a little frustrated. She's like, you feel that way? Like, that upsets you? He's like, I don't know. And you could tell that Will tried to back off and was like, look, it's just like the hair thing. It's not that big of a deal. Again, it's okay. It comes with the territory. It's no worries. But eventually they get onto the fact that Will is leaving on a work trip in 4 days. And for Britney, she's like, oh my God, what am I going to do without you? And I just know in his head, Will was having a party. He was so happy to be able to get away from this. For her, though, she's wondering what it's going to be like. It's not a big deal for Will because in his life, his dad always traveled as well for work. So he's kind of used to that dynamic and seeing that in a marriage. And they're just going to see how it goes because he does frequently travel for work as a tech. What is he, a tech sales agent or something like that? So then we go to Pat and Rhonda. They're also at their shared apartment, and Rhonda basically admits that she did get into a defensive, sort of protective mode last night.
I'm really trying to figure out how to make sure, one, that you feel safe with me.
But she's very, very happy that they were able to still go to bed together and that they can get through these disagreements. So Rhonda does ask Pat, what is it that you need in these situations in order for us to communicate a little better? And Pat's like, look, I just want you to do what Dr. Pia discussed. When you do X, I feel X. And that way we can talk through it and I'm able to have a clear understanding of what is wrong. Overall, though, Rhonda says, look, I'm going to be gentle reminders. I'm not going to be able to change in one day. Side note, I hate when people say that because, yeah, obviously, it's obvious, but I don't know. I feel like when people say that, it's such a cop-out. To me, it gives, hey, just so you know, I'm going to put minimal effort into this thing. And that way I told you that I can't change in a day. So now I covered my back. I don't know. That's always the way I interpret it when people say that, but that might just be me. In either case, though, they do tell each other that they love each other and these two are still chugging along. Chad and Belinda, Josh and Jaylen, and some of Belinda and Jaylen's family, they all show up and they have a little outdoor cooking thing. They're having a whole seafood boil going on.
Good, how are you?
We're ready. We're so excited. Hi.
Do you
need help getting anything?
Yeah, I've got to.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get stuff from down there to up
All
here.
right.
I absolutely love to cook.
Chad says his love language is cooking and he does love to cook for other people. And for him, he really loves being able to do things like this because his family is very scattered around. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. So he's happy that his new family is able to be here. They're all nearby and they can get together like this. Belinda loves this because she loves to see how giving Chad is towards her and towards others. And then Belinda and Jaylen, they break off and they have a conversation. So Belinda does talk about how Chad has told her repeatedly that he loves her, which I would red flag it because this man has had 4 marriages. It seems like he falls in and out of love quite quickly. In either case, though, Belinda has not said it yet because she doesn't want to say it back just because he said it. She wants the moment to be special. She feels like when the time is right, it will flow out naturally and it will not feel forced. Jaylen opens up about how she and Josh have discussed this postnup. They've talked about it since the first day of the wedding. And basically for Belinda, she's a little bit worried because if Jaylen becomes a stay-at-home mom, she's concerned about her not having any kind of protections. For Belinda, she was a stay-at-home mom, and when she got divorced, she basically had to start over. She had to go into the work world with no experience because she was a stay-at-home mom the entire time. Now for Jaylen, that's not really where she wants to be. She says that that's not her plan or her intent to be a stay-at-home mom, that she does always want to have her own income. And it's something that she and Josh have agreed to. And Jaylen does understand her mom's point of view. She does love the relationship that she and her mom have because she was a stay-at-home mom. She was around frequently, but she has watched her struggles getting back into the work world after the divorce. Personally, I think postnups should be a prerequisite on all of these marriage shows, either a prenup or a postnup, whatever's appropriate. If you are marrying a stranger, I feel like you should have protections for your money. That's just me. We see a little compilation. Megan and Derek, they are looking at Megan's apartment. They're at Will's apartment, Will and Britney. And then Belinda's apartment is also being shown to Chad. And then we see Rhonda and Pat in Rhonda's backyard. They're putting up some plants in the backyard. Pat is helping. And Rhonda opens up a little bit more about how challenging it has been for her to rely on somebody else.
It's kind of a lot of what the challenges we had in the marriage and why it was so short. And it was so uncomfortable for me.
Because when she was married to the kid's dad, it was just a situation where in that situation, she could only rely on herself. So now bringing someone else into her life and allowing them to kind of help her and trusting them, it's just something that she's not quite used to. Rhonda opens up in her last marriage that lasted, I think she said 18 months, that she and all of the 4 kids moved into the guy's house a week before they were actually supposed to get married. And it was horrendous. He didn't have sheets on the bed. His house was a mess. But because it was his house, there was no aspect of her having a say. So that's why for her, she's so adamant about having her house, having her space, keeping that space. And again, with that context, I can definitely understand where Rhonda is coming from. Again, hyper independence is something that is a toxic trait as a former hyper independent person myself. And I definitely think coming into a relationship, there is a balance. Yes, you should obviously maintain yourself, your autonomy, your assets, what you've worked for. But at the same time, you also have to have that aspect of letting go of control and leaning in and allowing that other person to be there. I think it's obviously going to be tougher for Rhonda because she's a little bit older and she's been doing the same thing for 25 years, but that's definitely something that to have a successful marriage, I think Rhonda is going to have to tackle, and Pat will probably have to have a lot of patience with. So Dr. Pia visits Josh and Jaylen. She's like, so how are things? And they're both like, great, awesome, fantastic. And Dr. Pia's like, okay. So you guys have like no problems. She's like, okay, well, I brought a game, so let's start shaking up some things because I feel like y'all are too good. Which, same. I said in my last video, it's just giving fake. I get that it's real, but it's giving fake. So anyway, they play this game. The first question is about their families and whether or not they look at their families as good role models. For Jaylen, she says that for her, she loved her family. She loved how open they were. Her mom always supported anything she wanted to do, and she never felt like she had to go down any specific path. For Josh, though his family might have had a lot of love, most people in his life are not really role models for him, and they are actually examples for what he wouldn't want to do. However, when it comes to his grandparents, his grandpa would always, once a month, take his grandma dancing, no matter what. So it's just about the little things to make sure that your partner still matters. They then touch on if they are in communication with exes on social media or in any capacity.
My exes don't follow me on social media. I don't follow them. It could leave doors open.
Jaylen says, no way, not for me. Don't follow any exes. Don't talk to them. Josh says he does have one ex that he is still following, that he does still communicate with on Instagram or on social media. And Jaylen's kind of like, oh, okay. Josh says, look, I'm just going to go ahead and delete her and cut off all contact immediately. I'm not going to lie, red flag, because you've been talking the whole time. And then now you're going to cut her off. It's giving that y'all have a friendship. And I know this is a widely discussed phenomenon, whether talking and having friendships with your exes is okay in a new relationship. And everybody has different POV on it. But clearly Jaylen's not cool with it. And I feel like it's not going to be, I feel like whenever someone says, oh, I'll just cut them off immediately, that's way easier said than done. Because y'all have still been talking and been in communication. not saying that that means that Josh and this woman are hooking up or anything of that nature, but it just seems like they have some kind of open line of communication. Me personally, I feel like, and because I'm a person where I would not date a person with kids or whatever, but I feel like the only exception to that rule, in my personal opinion, is if my partner had a child with this person. I would not really be cool with having a partner that has an open line of communication with an ex, but that's just me. And again, I know this is a very widely discussed and debated conversation. So this is just my opinion. You don't have to get mad at me in the comment section. If you are friends with your ex and your partner is cool with it, that's okay. That's your life. Then discuss the postnup, which again is a non-issue. Jaylen says, look, I plan to work. I plan to have my own success. I do not want to have to be a stay-at-home mother. It's just not something that's in my wheelhouse. So we do see Jaylen and Belinda meet up again, and they're having a similar conversation to earlier where Jaylen just, again, it's been really hard for her to watch her mom have to start over after being a stay-at-home mom for 11 years or being divorced for 11 years. I don't remember what it was. But they're at Belinda's apartment and Chad wrote this really nice note to Belinda before he left. And Jaylen is just emotional seeing her mom happy, seeing her mom get those little things, those little shows of romance, because that's not something that she's had for quite a while. So Derek and his friend meet up, and the gist of this conversation is that Derek is talking about how he wants 2 to 3 kids, but Megan is not so sure about that number. And the friend is basically like, okay, well, if this is your passion, don't give it up just because you're enamored by someone else. Have you decided if you're going to have this conversation with her? So Derek's now like, oh my God, I need to have this conversation with Megan about this. And I'm just like, I don't know. I get where Derek is coming from, but at the same time, I'm also kind of always like, I get it that people have numbers of kids in their head that they want, but I also feel like people that are hyper fixated on a specific number, to me, it's a little bit weird because you don't know what's going to happen. You might have 1 kid. What if your wife can't have 3 kids? What if there's so many things that have to do with that number? So I just find that people that are hyper fixated on having a specific number of kids is a little bit weird to me, but we will pause on that because that conversation will come back up a little bit later. Pat and Rhonda, they're at the grocery store. They're picking up a few things for the house. We also see Belinda cooking for Chad for the first time. And we see Will and Britney on a FaceTime. And Britney is so happy. We find out that the 2 of them were intimate again.
Luckily, when it comes to intimacy, Will and I are good on that front.
So give me a reason why we can't be.
Wow. Oh, Chile. Oh, okay. So the 2 of them were intimate again, and Britney is happy now, and she is on the phone like, he is so fine. He is so, oh my God, he is so fine. That man is fine. And Britney could not be happier. Her whole demeanor has changed because they had sex. So Megan and Derek are going over to the commercial real estate warehouse thing that Megan works at. They're having a conversation and Derek's like, hey, I went out today with my friend. I think his friend's name was Scott. And he was kind of discussing that maybe we should talk about whether or not you want to have kids or not.
If you're unsure about me, then like that's on you. I can't read minds.
Yeah, well, that's why we're bringing it up.
Well, I know, but you didn't really bring it up. You brought it up that he brought it up. Talked about it.
The idea of having birth freaks me out, but it's not, I'm not being excited about kids.
I know I'm getting irritated.
She's like, so did he mention it or do you want to talk about it? If you want to know something, inquire. And you know what? Derek has the patience of a saint. Because Megan, I would have lost it on Megan already, period. I would have lost it. This woman has an attitude and is so snappy and so snippy for no reason. Derek's like, okay, that's why I'm trying to bring it up. I'm trying to have a conversation with you because I want to talk about it. So Derek flat out is like, do you want to have kids? She's like, I wouldn't have frozen my eggs if I didn't want to. Obviously, I want to have kids. And I'm like, it must be exhausting to be in a bad mood like this every second of every day. People like Megan are a nightmare. It is brutal. As I said, Derek, you have the patience of a saint. Y'all really got me out here defending this white man. But he has the patience of a saint because this is crazy. This is crazy. In the confessional, Megan talks about, we have tons of unprotected sex. So if I didn't want to have a kid, why would I do all of that? Why would that happen? Why would he even want to talk about that? So after Megan goes off for quite a minute, Derek is like, I'm gonna be honest. This is the reason why I don't want to talk about things with you, because you get like this. It creates a situation where we can't even have conversations. It's like, look, you get so defensive over nothing. And Megan's like, this is not a joke to me. And she storms out. Derek, you can leave, right? You can leave. Give us an SOS if you need help, Derek, because this is crazy. I would not. I would have been so finished with this woman. So Will and Britney, Will is back from his work trip. As I said, Britney's in a good mood now. All of a sudden, she's so into Will because they had sex again. Derek and Megan, they are hosting all of the other couples at their apartment. Derek says even though it's tense, he's going to try to have a good time. So the other couples show up and they break up into girls and guys. In the guys chat, first off, they are busting Pat because I believe Pat is right above Derek and Megan, if I'm not mistaken, but they're like joking that he's super loud. It's always boom, boom, boom going on up there. Now all of the guys go around the room and they discuss words to describe their wife. They all say wonderful, except for Will, who says learning, which I'm like, that's not a word to describe your wife, but okay. And we have Derek, who says that he's content. That's nice. Derek goes on to explain further that there's critiques coming from all directions, and it's just been a little bit challenging for him right now. In the girls' chat, Rhonda says she had a moment today where she was thinking about if they weren't married, would she have even been trying this hard? And Britney admits that for her, had they not been married, they likely would not even be together at this point. They wouldn't have made it. And I'm like, ooh. Okay. Jaylen even chimes in and says, look, I'm gonna keep it real. Josh wouldn't have even gotten a second date with me if I met him in the real world. But all of these ladies agree that they're learning, and as they get to know these people, it's been very interesting and a rewarding experience to be with someone that they would not ordinarily go for. After the party, Chad comes into he and Belinda's apartment in a great mood. And he's like, you want to dance? You want to dance? And Belinda's a little taken off guard because she's like, were you guys dancing over there? What's going on? He's like, no, I just want to dance with you. And again, I feel like Chad is one of those people who's very, very in love in the beginning. But I feel like it's hard to keep his attention. That's just the vibe I get. But it was a cute scene for the two of them. And then we walk into the tornado. So Derek's like, oh, how was the girls' night? Very casually. Again, I did not hear a tone. Megan's like, there's nothing to talk about. There was nothing to talk about there.
She was fine. Say, well, tell me about the girls' night.
There's nothing to tell you.
What did you share?
And again, Derek, patience of a saint. Because I would have I would have lost it. I would have lost it on Megan by now. I would not have been able to take it anymore. It's not even that she'll be a little height. I mean, she is full on in attack mode over a simple question. She does not like this man. That's just what it is. That's the point blank period. You have that kind of attitude when you do not like somebody. So she continues and says, look, I'm not going to talk with the girls about everything that we had going on last night. I want to keep that between us. Derek's like, why are you getting so defensive right now? I'm just trying to have a simple conversation with you. Megan, I am still upset about last night. She storms off into the bathroom. Again, that's her favorite thing to do on this show.
Off, and then all of a sudden, it blows up into this thing, and you storm out. That's not fair to me. I feel like I have to be the one that makes up for something that, honestly, from my standpoint, never warranted that.
To me, there's no wiggle room there. Like, you just don't.
Then please,
you don't care.
Please tell me what I did wrong.
Just are...
What can I do better?
She opens the door and she's like, can you come in here? And I'm like, you do realize, Megan, the cameras can still hear you. She's like, I am still pissed about last night. I am pissed about the fact that you questioned if I wanted to have kids for no reason. And then on top of that, you take no accountability for anything. Derek's like, I'm gonna be honest. I tried to have this conversation in a very chill tone with you. I tried to have it in a way where I hoped it would not escalate. So I don't get why we're being here. Megan continues to harp on him about never taking accountability. And one thing I love that Derek does is say, give me examples then. And I know that riles Megan up even more because she's just trying to play victim. But he's like, okay, what are some examples of me not taking accountability? She can't give any. She literally cannot give one. It keeps her riled up. But that is the end of this episode, y'all. So if you made it to this point in the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. Please hype the videos if you can. If you have not seen the episode 5 and 6 video, because again, it's released pretty close to this one, check that out as well. And thank you guys so much. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.